I rented 5 supercars on Turo just to see how much these owners actually make. If you're new to my channel, this is actually the third part of my Turo series. In part 1, we went over how Turo works and everything you need to know if you're gonna list your car on the app. And in part 2, I rented my Tesla Model X on Turo just to see what it would make and if people would bring it back in one piece. And that brings us to this video in part 3, where I'm gonna rent 5 supercars just to see how much these things rent for, and also selfishly to figure out what car I want to buy for myself. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free and we've got cool videos like this all the time. Now, with that being said, let's go check out car number 1. All right, so let's check out my first car for the week. We got the Audi R8. Now, this is a 2015 version, and man, it's a pretty sweet looking car, but the only thing I don't like is the soft top. I love convertibles, but man, whenever I look at a soft top, it just makes like this luxury car look so cheap. I don't know if you feel that way too. So as I said in the beginning of the video, I'm gonna judge these cars in 3 different ways. Number 1, what's it cost? Number 2, what's it rent for on Turo? And number 3, would I personally buy one because I just like the car? So let's talk stats. I went to Auto Trader and looked up 2015 Audi R8s. Wait, is it Audi or Audi? I don't even know. But anyways, a 2015 Audi R8 on Auto Trader is going from $100,000 to about $130,000. If you try and buy a 2021 brand new, they start at around $145,000, and with options could probably go over $200,000. Now, as far as how profitable this car is, I paid $480 to rent it for just 1 day. And it breaks down in the following. It was $300 to book it for a day. It was $53 to get minimum protection insurance. They actually forced me to get insurance on this car, even though I already have mine. There was a $27 trip fee, and then there was a $100 delivery fee. Now, obviously, I could have avoided the $100 delivery fee if I was gonna go get it myself and drop it off myself, but I ain't got time for that. I'd rather just pay the fee. Now, obviously, the owner isn't getting the insurance money, but they are getting the $300 for the trip price, plus the $100 delivery fee. So he's making about $400 in just 1 day of renting me this car. Now let's just be conservative and say he could rent this out for half of the month at 15 days. Depending on if they got the delivery fee or not, he would make $4,500 to $6,000 every month. So if we just call it $5,000, over a full year, he'd be making $60,000 on this car, which means if you bought this used for $100,000, you'd pay it off in about 2 years. So the math works out. That's a pretty good investment. Now let's go have some fun with it and see if I'd actually buy this car to drive myself. This thing got some giddy up. You know, it definitely sounds good. I like the engine revving. Why did it bring the windows up? To tell you it's done? All right. All right, I'm not gonna lie. The convertible is nice. I may have to make my next car a convertible. I like driving like this, but it might mess up my hair if I gotta film. So I will say, it looks 1,000 times better with the top down, no doubt about it. But if you had to ask me, is this something I would invest in, something that I'd want to drive as my supercar? Absolutely not. It's really not that fast, the tech in it's really bad, and it's a soft top. So for all of those reasons, I would not be spending over $100,000 to own this. But that's why I rented a bunch of other cars so I could find one that I would spend money on. So let's go see what day 2 has in store. What's up, guys? So it's day 2 and I just got the 2020 C8 Corvette. Now this is the one that I'm most excited for because I've had so many people tell me about it. And let me tell you, just the time of driving it to this spot, it has not disappointed. Just looking at it from the outside, it's one of the most beautiful cars out there. I mean, the fact that this convertible looks like this for the price it is absolutely insane. I'm not even a big fan of red. If you notice, like none of my companies are red for that very reason. But when I look at this car on the outside and then this red interior leather, it's absolutely beautiful. But the thing I love about this car versus the Audi is how much tech it has. You've got this beautiful touchscreen, you've got an all digital dash, just everything about this car feels modern and new. The Audi, let's just say, did not feel that way. But probably the best part about this car is that it's a hardtop convertible. Check this out. See how fast this is. 3, 2, 1. Let me tell you, this one is a fun one to drive. 1,000 times funner than the Audi. And when you hear the numbers with it, you're not gonna believe how good of a value this really is. All right, so let's jump into the 3 ways that we're rating this car. Number 1, price. This is easily the best value out there in terms of fast cars, convertibles. It destroys the value of anything out there. You can get this brand new starting at $60,000. I actually called my local Chevy to see what it would cost to order one of these, and they said it's $10,000 over MSRP if I want to order it from them. So that just goes to show that number 1, how much of a great deal it is even at MSRP, but number 2, how much demand there are for these things. They're willing to pay more than it. Now, as far as what I paid to rent this on Turo, it was $375 for the trip price, $67 for the protection, $31 for a trip fee, $120 for the delivery. All in all, it came out to almost $600 to rent this for a day. Now, as we said before, the car owner doesn't get all of that. He's probably getting $500 minus Turo's fees. But even at $500 times 15 days every month, he's looking at making $7,500 for the month. So theoretically, you could pay it off in 1 year of owning it if you rented it on Turo. Now granted, Turo also takes their fees anywhere from 15 to 30% of that revenue, so it might take you a little longer than 1 year, but the point is, this car at its current price and what people are willing to pay for it on Turo is an absolute great value. Now, as far as number 3, for my personal opinion of the car, if you couldn't tell by now, I absolutely love it. I 100% would buy one of these cars. I may end up getting one after this video. I don't know. Comment below if you think I should. I love the way it looks. I love the way it drives. The tech inside is good. Everything about it is beautiful. So in the near future, you might see me as a Corvette owner, but let's see what day 3 has in store. All right, so we're here down the street from my office actually to pick up this beautiful Porsche. Like, man, it looks really good, but the hard thing is keeping my eye on it when there's all of these other cars around me. You've got this Lambo. Look, we drove the C8 the other day. Look how many C8s they got right here. And they even got my, blue that's just like my Tesla. I mean, that C8 is sweet. So let's go meet the owners. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? These were all initially gonna go into Turo.
Okay.
So we were just getting the inventory collected, working with the dealerships. It's been a painstaking process to go through and get these cars. We got this Porsche here, the Taycan.
Yep.
This is a 4S.
We usually adjust prices for holidays, and then with summer coming up, we'll probably adjust a little bit.
I definitely appreciate you guys sharing, your business with me, and I'll definitely link to all your guys' stuff below in the description of this video. So if any of you are coming to Vegas to rent a car, I mean, these are very well priced. And all right, guys, well, we're gonna go drive it around and we'll drop it off tomorrow. Yep. Awesome, thanks, guys. Dude, this car is nice. I'll tell you what, it kills the Model S and the Teslas in terms of looks. I mean, it's got way more going on. All right, we got electric, baby. That instant torque. All for sure my favorite car that I've driven thus far. And let me tell you, there's a lot of cool things about it. So let's jump into the ratings. Number one, you could buy this car for $80,000. Now, that's not this trim or this speed level. This one, I'm guessing, probably is around $120,000 with upgrades, but that's still a pretty good deal and very comparable to the Tesla Model S. So for number two on what this will rent for on Turo, I rented it for $400 as a trip price, paid $68 for minimum protection, $45 for a trip fee, plus $50 for a delivery fee. So all in all, it's almost $550. But just using our typical formula, if they rented this out for half the month, they're getting $7,500 a month, which turns into $90,000 per year. Which, going off the base model price of $80,000, means that you're making more revenue in year one than the car costs. And that's a common theme I've seen when I'm talking to all these Turo hosts. They want to pay off the car within a year. Now, as far as rating number three for what I personally think of the car, I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the body lines, the rims, everything looks great. Honestly, the best part about this car is all of the tech inside. I mean, everything has a digital dash. You know, there's not one button on this car other than the steering wheel. So this car would definitely be on my list to buy. But I'll tell you, the biggest thing that this car has made me realize after driving the Audi and the Corvette is that for me, on my next luxury car, I gotta have a four-door. I just don't like the coupe. Being able to have the second row and more space is just practical for me, and it allows me to use it as more of a daily driver. Now, as far as would I buy this car? Absolutely. Out of the three I've driven thus far, I would buy this before I bought the Corvette or the Audi, just because I like the four doors, I like the tech, just everything about it is super nice. So with that being said, let's see what day four's car has in store. All right, it's day four, and look what we have here. This Mercedes AMG GT. This thing is sick. And if it looks familiar, because it's the same exact car that my boy Lucky has from the first video. My first look at this car, it just looks like the Batmobile from The Dark Knight. Like, this car, to me, is the best looking one that I've seen thus far. But let's go take it for a spin and see what happens. All right, so first impressions, interior, probably the nicest of the bunch. I mean, the Taycan was really nice, but man, just like looking at all of the gadgets and the way that it's laid out, I love how this Mercedes is. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Dude. This car is fun to drive. All right, so let's jump into the three ratings. This car right here starts at about $130,000. Now, obviously that's a lot of money, so let's see if it's worth the return on Turo. So to rent this car, I paid $429 for the trip price, paid $73 for minimum protection, $35 for the trip fee, and then $120 for the delivery fee. So all in all, to rent this for one day cost me $640. So while some of the other ones we drove look like they could get paid off in a year, this one would probably take at least 2 years to get paid off just due to its price and what it actually rents for. So as far as it being a good value on Turo, probably not the best choice. The Corvette is a much better choice to get a return quicker. Now for the third thing with how much I actually, look who we got here. Pretty sweet car. Dude, how'd you know I was driving this?
In the parking lot, I had to come check it out.
Dude.
So how are you loving it so far, man?
Well, I'm on day 4. I've driven an R8, I've driven the C8, I've driven the Taycan, and now I've got the Mercedes just like you.
Okay, so out of the ones you just drove, which one's your favorite so far?
So I was gonna talk about my third aspect of this, you know, how I personally like the car. So for me, after driving this for, a day and just hanging out with it, number one, it's beautiful. I think it's the best looking car out of the bunch. The Porsche looked good, the C8 looks good, but this just like...
This is something you feel like you can drive it every day.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind driving this every day. And then inside of it, I mean, I'll go in it real quick. The tech in here is so much better than the rest. I mean, the Taycan had great tech because it's electric, but I love this center dash in here. I love the steering wheel.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just, the whole look is awesome. You got the newer model than mine, so you got the fully digital dash, which just looks amazing.
Well, yeah, and just looking at both of them, you know, this got a more aggressive grille than yours. I like the huge emblem. But overall, dude, I think it's a 10 out of 10. I would totally buy one. I'm not sure if this is gonna be the one I buy because I think I want a 4-door still, but.
Yeah, definitely. Now that you've kind of experienced her a little bit, what are your thoughts on Turo itself as a platform?
Dude, I gotta tell you, these guys are making more money than you said initially. Like you said, yours rents for like 150 to 200. I mean, I just paid $600 to rent this for a day.
Yeah, the housing market is not the only thing that's red hot right now. The Turo market is insane here in Vegas.
Yeah, and even the other cars I've rented, they're all $300-400 minimum.
Man, I'm gonna have to put my car back on Turo if they're going for that high, and I'm gonna get something very special for tomorrow too.
Oh, you guys hear that? Day 5 about to be special. Let's go see what happens. All right, so it's day 5, and let me tell you, I wanted to rent something cool like a Ferrari or a Lambo, a true exotic car. But when I looked on Turo, they were all renting for like $2,000 for a day. Now, I got the money to do it, but man, that's a hard pill to swallow for just one day and a YouTube video. But I ended up getting really lucky. On day 3, when I rented the Porsche Taycan from Morgan and his wife, they had a whole fleet of cars and I saw their Lambo and they saw me just drooling over it. And after I returned the Porsche, they actually said that they would let me rent the Lambo completely for free. So now we're back here at their lot, and as you can tell, it's completely empty because they've rented their entire fleet, which is awesome. And it goes to show how great of a business this is. So now I get to drive this beautiful Lambo. Dude.
How's it going, man?
Dude, I gotta tell you, I really wanted to drive this and I didn't think it was gonna happen.
Well, I'm glad we were able to make it happen for you.
I will take good care of her, and I just, you know, once again, I appreciate you for letting us do this, man.
Of course, yeah.
So, guys, if you're in Vegas, check these guys out because they have a whole big fleet of cars and they're really good people, for sure. Cool, man. All right, well, I'm gonna have some fun with it.
Yep.
All right, so to talk about the Lambo, I had to get a good setting. So I decided to come to my mountain where I'm about to build my dream home. If you're new to my channel, we're actually doing a series documenting every step of the way of building a house right up there. So make sure you're subscribed to see those videos. All right, so let's talk about this Lambo and go through our 3 different ratings. So number 1, these things, I mean, they could start at any amount, but the upgrades are gonna be so expensive. You're spending at least $300,000 on this Huracan brand new. The one we've got right here is a 2021. It's only got 1,000 miles on it. And I can tell you the tech inside of it is much better than previous Lambos that I've seen. Now, obviously Lambos are really expensive. Everyone knows that. But what do these things rent for on Turo? Well, like I said in the beginning, I saw them renting for $2,000 a day, and that wasn't even a 2021 that's brand new like this. Talking to Morgan, they said that they were gonna price it at $1,500 starting out and eventually raise it once they get more ratings. Talking about $2,000 a day, I wouldn't say that it's gonna rent half the month because it's really expensive and more exotic, but even if you rented it out for 10 days out of the month, you're talking about making 20 grand every single month on this Lambo. Put that out over a whole year, and that's $240,000. So just like all the other cars we've rented, you're still looking at paying this car off within a year to 2 years. And so as far as an investment goes, if you really do want a Lambo, Turo's a great way to pay for it. Now, lastly, for the 3rd rating, as far as what I personally think of it, I mean, who doesn't like a Lambo? It's beautiful. The matte gray on this car is awesome. I love just seeing the engine right back here. Just, man, driving it, it was easily the fastest car we had. Just, everything about it's great. I have really nothing negative to say about it. Now, do I actually see myself buying one of these for my next car? Probably not. I mean, it's a beautiful car, but I don't think I would buy this for me right at the moment. Now, with all that being said, if I had to pick the winner of the 5 cars that I drove this week, I would probably pick one. Porsche Taycan. And the reason I picked the Porsche Taycan is because number one, it was the only 4-seater, and I've realized that a 4-seater is what I want. But number two, its tech was amazing, it looked great, the price point I feel like was really good compared to the other cars. And it was just a really fun drive. So out of everyone I picked, it would definitely be the Taycan. Now that being said, doesn't mean that that's what I'm gonna get. I actually really liked the Mercedes, just the way it looked, how it drove, everything about it, but I didn't like that it was 2-door. But the thing is, they actually make a 4-door version of that car. So if I were to get a new luxury car, it's probably gonna be that one. With that being said, make sure you comment below which one was your favorite car. I got a feeling that a lot of you are gonna like this Lambo, but I wanna hear your thoughts. So that's all the cars that I rented, but there is one other rental that we wanted to show you. My friend Lucky, who initially started this series and was the inspiration, called me up this morning and said he had a special surprise. So take a look at this. Bro, where did you get this thing?
Dude, after seeing how much money you paid on that AMG, I had to rent mine out, and I knew today's your last day of renting Turo, so I had to come rent a car myself and flex a little bit.
All right, dude, I'm gonna have to go drive it.
Oh, 100%. This thing is just amazing.
Guys, I appreciate you watching this Turo series. If you enjoyed it, do me a big favor and hit the like button. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you can see all the other crazy cool videos that we're gonna do. And with that being said, I'm gonna go drive this thing.